Have you ever wondered if reality itself changes simply because you are watching it? This isn't just a philosophical question. It's at the heart of one of the most mysterious discoveries in modern science, the observer effect. Imagine a universe where things don't exist in a fixed way until someone looks at them. That's not science fiction, it's what quantum physics tells us about the very fabric of reality. For centuries, we believed the universe was objective, mechanical, and independent of our awareness. But then experiments in quantum mechanics flipped everything upside down, proving that observation itself plays an active role in shaping outcomes. In this video, we'll explore how reality is not as solid as you think, how consciousness seems to influence the physical world, and why simply looking at something may literally bring it into existence. Buckle up. This is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about life, the universe, and yourself. The story begins with one of the most famous experiments in history, the double-slit experiment. When scientists shot tiny particles, like electrons, at a screen with two slits, they expected them to behave like little balls, creating two clear lines. But what happened shocked everyone. When unobserved, the electrons acted like waves, creating an interference pattern of many lines, as if they passed through both slits at once. Yet, when someone observed the experiment to see which slit the electrons went through, the wave pattern disappeared, and the particles behaved like solid objects again. It was as if the act of looking forced the electrons to decide on a path. The implication was staggering. The observer was not separate from the experiment. Observation itself was collapsing infinite possibilities into one reality. This was not just physics. It was a revelation that consciousness and matter might be deeply entangled. But here's where the debate begins. What does observation really mean? Does it require a conscious human being looking at the experiment, or is it simply the interaction with a measuring device? Some scientists argue that observation is just interaction, like a detector picking up a signal. Others suggest that human awareness is the true catalyst that finalizes the outcome. This question cuts to the deepest mysteries of existence. If consciousness is required to make reality real, then we are not passive witnesses of the universe. We are active participants, co-creators of what unfolds. Imagine every choice, every glance, every moment of attention you give rippling into the quantum field and crystallizing one version of reality over another. Suddenly, your mind is no longer just inside your head. It's connected to the fabric of the cosmos itself. Quantum physics reveals that before observation, reality exists in a state of probabilities, not certainties. An electron isn't here or there. It's in a cloud of potential states, known as a superposition. But the moment you look, the wave of possibilities collapses into one definite outcome. This collapse, triggered by observation, is known as wave function collapse. In other words, the universe is like a video game rendering only the pixels you focus on. The rest remains a blurred cloud of potential until your awareness shines upon it. This suggests that reality is not fixed but flexible, constantly shifting and reshaping itself based on where attention goes. Your gaze acts like a cosmic spotlight, pulling one possibility out of the infinite and making it solid. That changes everything about how we understand existence, from science to spirituality. This leads us to the most controversial, yet fascinating interpretation, that consciousness itself is a creative force. If observing reality shapes it, then your awareness is not powerless. It's generative. This is where science and spirituality begin to overlap. Mystics have long said that the world is shaped by mind, that, as you think, so you become. Now, quantum mechanics seems to whisper a similar truth. Your act of looking is a kind of cosmic choice, a creative moment. If the universe is a sea of infinite possibilities, then consciousness is the sail that catches one wave and rides it into form. This isn't just abstract theory. It has implications for your daily life, your dreams, and even your ability to manifest your future. What you focus on grows because attention itself is the ultimate creator. Now, let's take this idea out of the lab and into your everyday life. If observation can change the behavior of electrons, could it also change the way reality unfolds for you? Think about how your attention works. When you focus on fear, your life tends to reflect situations that match that vibration. When you focus on gratitude, opportunities and blessings seem to appear out of nowhere. This isn't just positive thinking. It may be a direct expression of the observer effect. Your mind, like a lens, highlights one possibility out of the infinite quantum field. That possibility then becomes the reality you experience. Every time you look at life with doubt or faith, you're collapsing the wave of probabilities into one lived outcome. The world you see is not just happening to you. It is happening with you, through you, and because of you. To understand this even more deeply, let's think about attention as a form of energy. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And in quantum terms, energy is the fabric of everything. This means that your attention isn't just passive. It's actively directing the flow of creation, just like the electrons in the double-slit experiment chose. A path under observation, your life circumstances, choose. A form based on where you are looking. If you keep paying attention to lack, you energize lack. If you keep noticing abundance, you energize abundance. This is why shifting your focus is one of the most powerful tools you have. Your awareness is like sunlight. Whatever you shine it on grows stronger. The observer effect shows us that consciousness may not just witness the world. It may fertilize it, breathe life into it, and guide it towards specific outcomes. Interestingly, this concept bridges science and spirituality in a way few other discoveries do. Spiritual teachers for thousands of years have said, your perception creates your reality. They spoke in terms of the mind, the soul, and divine connection. Now, quantum mechanics seems to provide a scientific echo to those ancient truths. The observer effect doesn't just say reality is flexible. It says you are a vital part of its unfolding. This makes sense of practices like meditation, visualization, and prayer. When you visualize a desired outcome, you are not just imagining, you may actually be nudging the probabilities of the quantum field. When you meditate, you align your consciousness in a way that resonates with higher order patterns. Science shows us the how, while spirituality has always shown us the why. Together, they reveal that reality is a dance between the material and the mindful. One of the most challenging ideas to accept is that there may be no such thing as a fully objective reality. We like to believe the world exists, out there, independent of us, fixed and solid whether we look at it or not. But quantum physics shakes that belief to its core. It suggests that the very act of observing is what makes the world real in a specific way. Without observers, reality may remain an undefined cloud of potentials. This raises deep philosophical questions. If no one is looking at a tree in the forest, does it even exist in a definite form? Or is it only when an observer, human, animal, or even a measuring device, interacts with it that it becomes a tree as we know it? The illusion of objectivity crumbles when you realize that reality might be an interactive experience, not a fixed backdrop. If observation shapes reality, then you are not just a passive being drifting through a pre-written script. You are an artist painting with consciousness. Every thought, every focus, every glance is a brushstroke on the canvas of existence. This doesn't mean you control every detail of reality like a god, but it does mean you participate in how probabilities collapse into experiences. Life becomes less about surviving random events and more about consciously engaging with the field of possibility. Instead of asking, what will happen to me? You begin asking, what reality am I choosing to look at today? You are like a quantum artist, blending science with imagination, and your awareness is the palette. Once you grasp this, life stops being something that happens to you and becomes something you co-create with the universe itself. Belief is one of the strongest forms of observation. What you believe becomes the filter through which you see the world, and that filter collapses certain probabilities into your lived reality. If you believe you are unlucky, your attention will constantly notice setbacks, reinforcing that experience. If you believe you are blessed, your awareness will keep finding reasons to confirm that belief. Quantum physics doesn't just deal with particles. It deals with probabilities. And your beliefs act like magnets, drawing certain probabilities into your timeline. The observer effect suggests that life may not be objective truth, but rather belief made truth. Change your belief, and you alter the lens through which reality crystallizes. This is why belief systems, affirmations, and mindset shifts are not just psychological tricks. They could be quantum tools for reshaping existence itself. Now imagine multiplying this effect by billions of people. If one person's observation shapes reality, what happens when an entire society observes something together? Collective observation may explain why cultural norms, mass fear, or shared hope create massive real-world outcomes. Think about stock markets. Prices rise or fall not simply because of objective values, but because of collective belief and observation. Wars, peace movements, and even global awakenings are fueled by mass attention. The observer effect, scaled up, suggests that humanity as a whole is co-creating the future through shared focus. This raises a powerful question. If enough of us shifted our attention toward healing, unity, and abundance, could we literally alter the trajectory of civilization? The evidence points toward yes. Consciousness doesn't just shape personal lives, it shapes history. Another mind-bending aspect of the observer effect is how it relates to time. Some quantum experiments suggest that observation can even influence events that already happened. In delayed choice experiments, scientists discovered that how we choose to observe a particle now can retroactively determine how it behaved in the past. This challenges everything we think about cause and effect. If true, it means observation not only shapes the present and future, but might even reach backward into time, rewriting how events unfold. Suddenly, reality is not a fixed timeline, but a flowing, flexible tapestry. What you observe today might ripple backward as well as forward, aligning events to fit the reality you are collapsing into existence. It suggests that the universe is not a rigid chain of causes and effects, but an interconnected web where consciousness weaves past, present, and future into one living moment. Have you ever noticed how life seems to reflect your inner state back at you? When you are angry, the world feels hostile. When you are calm, things appear smoother. This may be more than psychology. It may be the observer effect at work. Reality acts like a mirror, reflecting the vibration of your awareness. Your thoughts and emotions are not invisible. They are the lens that directs which probabilities collapse into form. This is why inner work is so powerful. By changing your internal state, you shift the kind of reality you are capable of observing, and in turn, the reality you experience. In other words, reality is not showing you what is out there. It is showing you who you are being in here. The observer effect reveals that life is always holding up a mirror to your consciousness. If observation collapses infinite possibilities into one outcome, then every moment is a choice point. You are constantly choosing through attention and awareness which reality you want to experience. This is the essence of free will. You don't control the entire universe, but you do have the ability to influence which version of it you live in. Each time you decide to focus on love instead of fear, hope instead of despair, opportunity instead of limitation, you are making a quantum choice. The observer effect reveals that choice isn't just a psychological act. It's a cosmic act. You are selecting one path among countless possibilities. This makes life far more powerful and meaningful. You are not drifting through a predetermined script. You are co-authoring the story of your existence, one observation at a time. Think of the universe as an infinite quantum field where every possibility already exists. Every potential version of you, rich, poor, successful, struggling, healthy, sick, is floating in this field as probability waves. Observation is what pulls one of those versions into your reality. The quantum field doesn't judge, it doesn't decide for you. It simply waits for your attention to give form to one path. This is why visualization and intention setting are so powerful. When you vividly imagine the reality you want, you are not daydreaming. You are aligning your consciousness with one specific probability and increasing the chance that it collapses into your lived experience. The quantum field is like a vast library of books, and your observation is the hand that selects which story you will read next. If the observer effect is real, and every experiment suggests it is, then we must rethink what it means to be human. We are not powerless beings at the mercy of an indifferent universe. We are conscious participants in the creation of reality. This mirrors spiritual teachings that say we are made in the image of the Creator, meaning we share the power to create. Every act of attention is a prayer, every focus an affirmation, every thought a brushstroke of cosmic artistry. This doesn't mean you can magically control everything, but it does mean you have far more influence than you were ever told. Science and spirituality are converging on the same truth. Consciousness is not an accident of the brain. It is the very fabric of existence. You are not inside the universe is inside you, waiting for your observation to bring it alive. Understanding the observer effect gives you a new kind of freedom. If reality is shaped by what you observe, then you are not trapped by your current circumstances. You can shift focus, redirect attention, and gradually collapse different possibilities into form. Many people unknowingly reinforce the same negative reality by constantly observing it, talking about it, worrying about it, reliving it in their minds. They keep feeding energy to the same outcomes. But once you understand that observation itself is creative, you realize you can starve old realities by withdrawing your attention and feed new realities by focusing on them. This is how transformation begins, not by forcing the outside world, but by shifting the way you observe it. Change your observation, and over time, your reality changes with it. The observer effect isn't just a scientific principle, it's a new way of living. It invites you to see life not as a fixed path, but as an unfolding masterpiece that responds to your gaze. Instead of being a victim of circumstance, you become a conscious participant. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to choose how you will observe it, and therefore how it will unfold. Every dream becomes a probability waiting to be energized by your focus. When you walk through life with this awareness, everything becomes more vibrant, alive, and full of possibility. Even setbacks lose their power because you realize they are just one version of reality. And with a shift in focus, new versions are always available. Life is no longer random, it is responsive. So what does the observer effect ultimately teach us? That you are not separate from the universe. You are a part of its creative process. Reality does not exist in a fixed way until it is observed, and your consciousness is the very lens that shapes it. You are the observer, the participant, and the co-creator of everything you experience. This truth is both humbling and empowering. It means you can no longer hide behind the illusion of being powerless. Your attention is sacred, your focus is powerful, and your observation is the brush that paints the world around you. The next time you look at your life, remember, reality is not something you are stuck in. It is something you are shaping with every thought, every glance, and every act of awareness. The universe is watching with you, waiting to become what you choose to see.